Congratulations on the win. How do you feel?
Yeah, thank you. Shoulders sore, but we knew coming in that that was going to be the issue anyway. But I feel good. Glad to get through it. Glad to put on a good performance, and just get this right now and on to the next.
So carrying around that undefeated record is probably a little bit of pressure, I would assume, because you've got to keep that up. How does it? I mean, do you feel that pressure, or is that just what we make up in our heads?
Yeah, to be honest, I don't think about it anymore. It was great for like 5, 6, 7 fights. You know, you're this big prospect and everything. But once I started racking up more and more fights, I just don't think about it. You know, I take one fight at a time. I understand how the game works. It's very easy to pick up a loss in this game with the 4-ounce gloves on. Anyone can get knocked out in 4-ounce gloves. It's great to be undefeated. It obviously adds to my brand. It adds to the hype around me. But I try not to think about it too much. It was great after the fight. I can say I'm still undefeated. But going into it, it doesn't add any pressure.
And you had opponent changes. Does that throw any wrench in the plan? It doesn't look like it did, but you know, we don't know what happens behind the scenes.
Yeah, it did. It did mix things up a little bit. You know, that was my third opponent for this fight. All three had very different styles. So the 6 weeks of game planning I did for the original opponent was a completely different style to the guy I fought tonight. But I'm very fortunate. I've got good level coaches, world-class level coaches, I should say, and I've got a good all-round game. So I'm comfortable wherever the fight goes. And I fight best when I just adapt in there anyway. So I'm just fortunate that I could influence my sort of strengths on him and keep him at bay.
And what did you think about him? And was it a UFC debut, coming off it tough? You know, was there any surprises? What do you have to say about him?
He brought exactly what I expected, to be honest. He's a tough guy. I knew he wouldn't go away. He was scrappy. He was trying to induce me into a brawl. He was trying to trash talk me in there. I couldn't understand him though. So you know, I didn't get caught up in it all. But I knew what he was going to bring to the table. I knew technically I was going to be the much better fighter. I knew the only way he could beat me is if he enticed me into a tear-up. And I'm very happy with how I kept my discipline, kept him at range, and just worked my game on him.
Was there trash talk before the fight as well?
No, we was both respectful before the fight. It was all smiles and handshakes at the weigh-in. But I've seen him fight on TUF and elsewhere, and he likes to talk when he's in there, so I expected that, you know. But it's nothing I haven't seen before. I've been in there with a few guys like him who like to talk. And look, when someone's talking to you during the fight and trying to entice you to plant your feet and throw, that usually means you're winning and you're beating them technically. So you know, I just thought, keep doing what I'm doing. And I could hear in my corner shouting, "Don't fall into the trap, you know, don't fall into that stand and bang trap," and give him half a chance.
So I'm not sure if you're aware that you're part of a historic little stat for this card. There are 4 dads cornering 4 sons tonight. How does it feel to be, number one, the first one to take a win home? How does it feel to have your dad in your corner?
Yeah, it's brilliant, you know. You know, my father's been my head coach, him and Carl, since I was an amateur. So it's a great to be part of the stat. But to be honest, like a lot of people say to me, how does it feel to have your dad in your corner? But because I don't know no different, it feels how I assume everyone would feel. But he was there for the first fight, and he'll be there for the last. Same with Carl, you know, and same with all my team. So I'm just happy to have him there and on the journey with me. You know, he's worked hard as a coach for years, so has Carl, and it's nice to bring them along and get them the eyes on them that they deserve as well.
And you mentioned in your post-fight you have a torn bicep, is that correct?
Yeah, well, we assume. So I injured my shoulder 2 weeks ago in training before I flew out. When I got out here, the PI told me it was a torn bicep tendon. They did a great job, in all fairness to them, for the 8 days I've been out here. Got it to a point where it was bare. I mean, when I landed out here, I couldn't even throw a punch. So they got it in a good position, but obviously the wrestle and the clinch work was just non-existent for me tonight. I couldn't leverage, I couldn't squeeze. That's how I didn't finish that submission in the first round. So the doctors now are going to arrange me to get a scan back in the UK, and obviously we'll know what we're dealing with then in terms of recovery.
Was there any discussion about not taking the fight, or was it just, I'm going to do this no matter what?
Because of the injury, you know, not because of the opponent. My coaches wanted me to give it a few days. You know, they were constantly checking on me for about 5 days before we flew. But if I can get in there, I'll get in there. You know, I've never pulled out a fight in my life, so I didn't want to start with this one. It was a big card, full of Brits, and I didn't want to not be a part of it. And look, I got a good enough game that if I can get in there and perform, I will. Don't get me wrong, looking back, it could have gone horribly wrong probably if it had torn completely during the fight, but thankfully I was able to keep it at bay. But I won't be going into the fights no more if I'm not 100%, because I did feel injured my wrestling a little bit. But you live and you learn. I got through it, got the win, and that's all that matters.
And obviously, that's going to determine when you can get back in there. If it is a torn bicep, what kind of a recovery, and when do you expect to be able to get back in and fight?
I should imagine it'll be next year with the recovery and stuff. I've got an holiday booked with my girlfriend, and if I don't take her away in November, she'll be meaner than any opponent I got to come up against. So I'll take her away and get this sorted. If it's a surgery job or whatever, then I just got to see what the doctors say. If it's a matter of resting and sort of therapy work, at the minute I'm sort of clueless with it because we don't know the full diagnosis. So once I get that sort of seen to, I'll have a better idea. I'll try and keep everyone updated. But obviously I don't want to be sat on the side for the sake of it. If I can get in there and fight and train without any pain, then I'll get in there and do it.
Thank you.
Just a couple silly ones for me. I love your accent, by the way, but it's funny you talked about how you couldn't understand his trash talk. Have you ever had it where somebody's like, I know he's talking trash to me, but I can't understand a word he's saying? Have you ever had it?
Yeah, there's a lot of Americans don't like. So when I speak to someone who's American or whatever, I try and slow down a little bit. But I can guarantee you, if you put me and them three there in a room and just listen to us talk, you won't have a fucking clue what we were saying either. So. It was, what have you done? He chinned him. Paddy chinned him. Yep. But yeah, I couldn't understand him, and to be fair, he probably couldn't understand me either. So it didn't make a difference either way.
Well, I know this fight would have been great for you, obviously, if this fight could have happened over in London and stuff. But was it still kind of nice having a card full of, as you said, a bunch of Brits? Yeah,
of course. It's always great to share the card with the guys like Molly and Paddy I came up with on Cage Warriors. We're very friendly with them. Tom and Darren as well, Modescus I'm good friends with, and obviously Tom and Darren at the top of the bill. So it's nice to have that. Although we're not in the UK, there's still a lot of British eyes, a lot of British audience watching because of the time and because of Till being the main event. So it's great to be a part of it. I think it's the strongest talent base the UK have had on one card for years and years, I think now. So it's good to be a part of it.
And you got to have Bisping calling as well. That's got to be nice.
That was the icing on the cake, huh? Who else to have the big British card called than the best to ever do it from the UK himself, Michael Bisping.
Congrats on the victory.
Thank you.
Cool.
All good?
Thank you.